Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode to the Beautiful Struggle podcast. And this is episode number 110. All right. And you guys already know when we have different guests on the podcast that speak about subjects and different topics that we've never spoken about before, or anything that I don't know very much about, I get pretty excited, right? And this guest today is just that. A little bit about my guest. She helps people turn their passion into side hustles. She's been doing that for a long time now. She also owns a vending machine business, and she owns multiple locations. We'll definitely get into, how many she owns and all that, and the business model. I know a lot of people have been asking questions about vending machines, how it works, how they can get into it, and it's a very great way to make passive income. And she also helps people jump into this business model herself. So she coaches people as well. Obviously, she's an entrepreneur. She's a straight hustler. Welcome, Crissy Tutors. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. Glad to be
Absolutely.
here.
Absolutely. How are you doing today? Thank you for jumping on.
Man, I'm doing good. Like I feel
Mhm.
like, even though it's still, early in the afternoon, I still feel like I got so much stuff done. So, I'm doing
Absolutely.
good.
That's awesome. And with the holidays coming up, I know a lot of people around this time, they're either taking time off or they're just extremely busy. How has it been for you? Have you been balancing that good, or you just been crazy busy? I know one of my colleagues I was talking to yesterday, he's like, typically I take the month of December off, but I still been working.
Yeah, it really has been busy. This is probably
Mm,
the busiest month so far. That yeah, for the year,
mm,
100%. I don't know what it is about this December, but I've been
mm,
having to get up and do things that I really don't want to do in my business. Normally, I have other people to do that, and
mm.
I've been having to do that. So I would say it's been the busiest month of the year so far, but it's a good thing.
Yeah, that's definitely a good thing. Now I'm curious, why have you been having to get up and do it, and not other people do it? I'm curious.
Man, good question. So normally when I get locations, I sell locations. So the number one thing in my business, in the vending machine business, is I sell locations, right?
Mhm.
Find locations, I sell them, or I'll gain a location and I'll sell it. But one of my main people who go and look at the locations, they were out of town. And then I also have a backup person. That way I don't need to touch locations,
Mm,
speak to owner, do anything. And that backup person was also out of town. So if
mm.
I wanted these two locations, I had to go and do it myself. And
Yourself.
it ended up being really good locations. Both of them, I get to keep the machines that are in the businesses, and I get to put a new machine inside of the business as well. So I'll go into it a little later, but I can do a couple
Mm.
things with that locations to generate income. But I'll most likely just resell the locations and make the money from it. So it's
Absolutely.
quick flips is what I like
Yeah,
to call it.
that's dope. Okay, so you've already kind of been breaking it down a little bit, but I'm curious, before we jump into that, if we can jump into your background and how you even got to this point of vending machines and helping people out and flipping and whatnot. I'm sure there's other things you're doing as well, but I'd love to know your background and your story of you growing up.
Yes. Okay. Well, so we can back up all the way up. So
Yeah,
as a
yeah, let's
little
do
girl,
it.
I've always wanted to own a vending machine. I think we all have. Like I think we all looked at a vending machine and was like, I wonder how that gets there. Like I'm giving this person my money, but who am I giving money to?
Yeah.
So I never, don't do research about how to own a vending machine. My sister's friend, he was a nurse and he always generated extra money on the side. And we asked him one day, like, what's one of your businesses? And he was like, I own two vending machines and they're at the casino. And I
Mm,
was instantly intrigued. I was like, a vending machine? What do you mean you own a vending machine? And he really just put the idea in my head. He said, listen, I get the vending machine, I purchase it. Here's where I purchase the vending machine from. I go out, put the snacks inside of it. And I was like, wait a minute. So
mhm.
I did research on my own. I actually went to the library. See, back then, we're
How
talking
old were
7
you at
years
this
ago.
time?
Say that again.
How old were you at this time?
Whew, gosh, let's say 7 years ago. I'm 33 now. I'm not good at
Okay.
math, y'all.
Okay. No. You good. You
So
27?
it was around 7 years ago.
Mhm.
So he kind of put the idea in my head. I went to the library. Back then there weren't a lot of videos about
Mhm.
vending machines, how to get in the business. There were probably only two people online talking about vending machines. So the library helped me out a lot. I purchased my first vending machine for $650. It didn't come with a location, but I knew that it was a really good vending machine. The vending machine I purchased was an AP. It's called an automatic product. That vending machine generated me $550 on average monthly. The first 3 weeks, when I think I made like $400 the first 3 weeks in the business, and I was like, wait a minute, this is some good money. Okay, this is good. After that, I acquired several locations. Mainly, they were in like aftercare centers or daycare centers. And then I got into locating. Someone told me, they were like, you're getting locations really fast. Like, how are you doing it? And I was like, well, I just call people, tell them about my business, and I get in there. You know, people like me, they trust me. They know that, you know, I'm not just going to go and mess up their business. So he said, you can be a vending machine locator. This is what a lot of people do who retire out of the vending machine business. They just find locations for people for $2,000. So I was like, well, if I can come in and find these locations at $550, I think I can be onto something. Long story short, I got into vending machine locating, started finding vending machine locations for people. I was acquiring bigger companies, larger companies in vending, and they were using me over and over again, developed a repertoire with them. And that's really what turned my business into a six-figure business.
No, that's awesome. So you said 7 years ago, so you're about 27. Before, even younger than that, were you into, because you said you always wanted to own a vending machine, but did you ever start any other businesses? Was entrepreneurship in your family? Because to jump into, the way I think of it, like jumping into a vending machine business is obviously something different, and you got to be extremely curious about it. Because although I believe a lot of people are curious about vending machines, I do believe that a lot of people wouldn't even think like, yo, somebody's making money off this machine. This money is going somewhere. Somebody brought this thing in. I do think a lot of people think like that. So you got to be curious. But where did the entrepreneurship bug come from?
So I actually owned a tutoring business. I had my own location. Like I owned a brick and mortar tutoring business prior to my vending machine business. So I feel like when I was a little girl, in middle school, I sold candy. So I went to my mom with the idea. I don't know where I got this idea from. I have no idea. There's no one really in my family who were entrepreneurs, you know, on my mom's side. Later down the road, I found out we have family in the Bahamas who were doing really well with business. But so I went to my mom and I was like, listen, like, I want to sell candy. If you can buy the candy for me, and then I'll just give you your money back, right? I didn't even know about interest, but I was like, I'll give you $5, you know, a pack of what I'm making, right? Of course, she didn't, you know, I didn't have to pay her back interest. I just paid her back. But yeah, so candy in middle school, got caught a couple times. I didn't care. The teachers would, you know, have me, they'd be like, Crissy, you know, you can't do this, but come on back here, girl. Let me see what you got. So I'd have a little lunchbox and I sold candy out of it. In fourth grade, you know, in elementary school, everyone sold the little world's finest chocolates. Everyone remember those with the peanuts and, you know, the little crunch bars. So I sold that as well. So I was always like a seller. I always sold things. I enjoyed it. And in high school, I worked for a telemarketing company who were based in New York City, selling the New York Daily News. So I learned a lot from just selling to people and also being honest while you're doing it and also having people trust what you're selling. So I think that really played a huge role into me being able to grow a location business.
I love what you said about being honest. That's key right there. I think a lot of people will pass it up, especially being in sales. I was in sales about a year ago, I would say. And that was one of the things I struggled with honesty. You know, when you're in sales, a lot of times the team, the company, they want you to sell to make money because we got to eat, we got to pay bills and whatnot. But it gets to a point like, when am I forcing this? And when is it enough? Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm forcing this product on this person. And what we were selling, it wasn't candy. These were like really expensive service packages and whatnot. So this was like people's business investments that they're making. And it got to a point where you got to ask yourself, like, yo, am I being honest? Am I being truthful when I'm trying to sell these people? Am I being too pushy? There's a lot to it. A whole nother rabbit hole we can go to, but I love that you brought up honesty. because you don't hear that a lot when you're talking about sales. You don't hear those two words a lot together.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
that's
I like that
awesome.
you said that too. For me, the main thing was, man, like you mess up one client and they're going to call you
Yeah.
scam for life. So
For
I
life.
never wanted to be that person where if someone purchases a location from me, they feel like I'm not going to give them their money back. So I always had the rule of thumb, if I can't find you a location, or if you go into that location, something happens within 24 hours, I will give you your money back. So I think that really pushed my location business, and it taught me so much, because now I can choose to work with clients who I want to work with. I already know that I can deliver. I already know, I have a track record, so I can deliver. So it's either I want to work with you. It's not, should you work with me? It's, should I work with you at this point? Because I'm just so well versed in vending that, I can get you a location and teach you how to make money with the multiple streams of income just in vending alone.
I love that. And it's crazy because I know you have a pretty big platform and following. When you get that big, I'm sure you've seen it. People start getting exposed. You know what I'm saying? When they're not honest, they're not truthful, and they're trying to sell you something and it's not actually what it is. So you developing those habits and those skills early on. So when God does bless you with that platform, you're ready to go. It's like it's easy. And I know how to bring you results. It's money here.
Definitely blessed. Definitely
Yeah,
blessed. 100.
absolutely. So okay, so you jump into the vending machine business. You're extremely curious about it. Now I'm curious, what are the first couple of steps for the people out there that are still curious about this whole vending machine? They don't really know how it works. I would love for you to kind of walk us through lightly, like what are the steps? Obviously you have to get a machine. Do you go to eBay? Do you go to Craigslist? Like, where do you go to get these machines at? Offer up? You mentioned locations a bunch of times. Obviously you don't have to go super depth, but we would love to know, the gist of it.
Of course. So the first thing that you want to do when getting a vending machine business, or getting into it, is you want to know the location. So where are you going to place your vending machine? The reason why everyone always says, but I don't have a machine. What am I going to do? What am I going to tell the person? Well, a location is really going to let you know what can go there. Is it a drink or is it a snack machine? Many times you can purchase the vending machine and then it doesn't even fit in the location door. So now you're stuck. So when you go to that owner and you're asking them to put the vending machine there, they will know what type of vending machine they need. It's not necessarily what you want to go in there. It's what they need. So once they tell you what they need, you're all good to go. Now you can search for a machine. It takes me 15 minutes to find someone a machine. I used to have I'm not going to say used to, because I'm going to bring it back in December, but I have a service to where I help people find machines in their area. Right. So I not only help them find the machines in their area, I give them a whole list, and I give them a whole list of what to look for, right? And a lot of people who use that service, they're just lazy. They're like, I don't want to go find these machines. Right. So I'll back up. So basically all I do when I sell this service is I go and look at in their area, offer up, Facebook Marketplace, and Craigslist. I look at machines in their area. Obviously, I know exactly what I'm looking for. You want to reach out to the owners, but then ask them, why are they selling the machine? It'll tell you a lot about their background, if it's really their machine. I've had people try to sell me vending machines that they just got from Goodwill, right? Goodwill will have a machine for sale for $100. They'll try to sell it to me for $500. And to me, that's like it's a steal, right? They don't know it's a steal, but it's a steal for me because I know that same machine is worth like $1,300. So when you get the vending machine and you're placing it in the location, you can go to Sam's Club, you can go to so we have Sam's Club, trying to think, Costco, BJ's, and Restaurant Depot. These are places where you can go and buy wholesale products, put it inside of the machine. Of course, there are other places, Frito-Lay's, different places where you can get a bulk of, certain brand that you're trying to buy, like Frito-Lay's. You can go and reach out to them, buy bulk from them as well, put it in the machine. But here's the thing. When you're in vending, number one thing I say is niche down. You have to niche down, figure out exactly what you want to buy. So when people ask me, Crissy, what should I do in vending? Should I do snacks? Should I do products? I tell people the best people to me who really do well in this business is the ones who niche down. They know exactly what they want to buy. They know exactly who they're selling to. So if you are in a predominantly Hispanic type of location, you're not going to put products in there that match your own culture. You're going to fit the products that match them. So it's really good to ask them what they want. Put a little paper on the outside of the machine. If you don't know who you're selling to, have them write down their top 10 snacks, right? So that's giving you an idea of what they want. Once, and this goes back to even being a business owner itself, once you know exactly what your target clients want, right? That target product, all you have to do is keep refilling it, put in the same thing in there they're going to buy, right? So that's number one as well. After that, you want to use your profits to buy other vending machines, right? You don't want to dip into your profits. Use that product or use that profit, buy other vending machines. That's how I was able to scale really fast with the business, because I never used my money. I just kept buying more, kept buying more. Then when I reached about 5 machines, I had that, income just coming in, generating from those machines. I hired 3 high schoolers to work with me. They were all 18, but I still hired them to work with me in Miami, Florida. And it was just dope. It really was just dope. I lived like 30 minutes away from Miami, but would go and pick up my daughter from school, go all the way to Miami, go all the way to Lake Worth. It was a lot. So once I learned how to hire other people for my business so I can take myself away, I hit the ground running from then.
That's super smart, because once you start bringing in more people, it's like you no longer just have 24 hours in a day. You have 8 hours here, 8 hours here, 8 hours here, and you can utilize them, and they can go on multiple routes. You can use that money to invest more, and it could just get real crazy. I'm sure how it has been for you. How many, if you don't mind me asking, how many different locations do you own, or vending machines do you own? Is it in the hundreds? I'm curious.
Yeah, great question. So what I do is I buy and sell routes. So sometimes at one point I had like 20 vending machine routes, right? So 20 vending machine locations, more than 20 vending machines, but I sold the location. So I only had it on hand for 2 weeks and then I sold it. So what I do is I'll buy routes from people who are getting out of the business, or when I find a location, I'll place a machine in there, and I try not to have a vending machine or a location on hand no more than 2 weeks. So I just make consistent income buying and selling to new business owners.
So what you can do is, what I'm understanding is, you can put a machine there and you can just leave it in the location and you just make money that way, right? But you can also buy locations, make it I guess a profitable location, and then you can sell it to other people, right? And you're using locations and route interchangeably, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So let me give you an example. Earlier, I stated that I acquired a laundromat and I acquired an apartment complex. In both of those locations, and I also put this in my stories too, put in my stories me talking to one of the owners at the apartment complex, and him telling me like, oh yeah, take the machine. So there's a drink machine and there's a snack machine. Snack machine's in the laundromat, drink machine is in the apartment complex. So both of these owners, they don't know what's wrong with the machine, right? So the one at the laundromat, it's missing the latch on the door. So when I'm looking at the machine, I'm like, all I need to do is put in $100 for this, right? The apartment complex, I plugged it in, right? Looking through it, the coolant works, everything works, right? However, it's not taking dollars. So when I looked at it, I'm like, oh my gosh, this doesn't need anything. This needs $80 worth of work. So what I can do with those locations, and what I might do, depending on who wants to buy it, is I might just take the drink machine out of there, put it in the laundromat because they want a drink machine, take the snack machine, put it at the apartment complex because they told me I can put another drink machine at the apartment complex. So I'm acquiring 2 vending machines that I can resell, both of those for $1,100 to $1,200 easily. Or I can place machines in the location. The apartment complex, I can sell 1 vending machine and that location for $3,500. The laundromat, I can sell that for $2,500. So all I needed to do was place a machine in the location and make that money. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. No, that's super clear. I'm
And I didn't need to pay. Sorry about that. I didn't need to pay anything to even be there. So it's free. This is a free location acquired.
No, that's crazy. And so some of the machines that are like broken and whatnot, I'm sure you've been in it for a long time. Do you know how to fix them, or you just outsource that to somebody else to do it real quick?
Great question. If I have to play with the motherboard of the machine, I do outsource that. But a lot of times it's minor fixes. Like if, let me give you an example. If it's not accepting $1, normally it means someone probably put a penny inside of the machine. So you want to check the bill validator, make sure dollars aren't stuck. You want to check the coin mechanism to make sure the coins aren't kind of like slanted or there are no pennies inside of there. Those are like, I would say 80% of the reasons why it's not taking coins or why it's not taking dollars. So those are the things I do know how to fix myself. But if I have to play around with the motherboard, then I do outsource that because that gets into like technical stuff.
Absolutely. So when people think of vending machines, they're thinking of snacks, drinks, you know what I'm saying? Places with like hot Cheetos and stuff like that. But if you go to the airport and some other locations, you got vending machines that are branded and they got different unique things in there, especially nowadays. I think the one that comes to my head is like the Kylie Jenner one where you can buy makeup, which is crazy. Um, Talk to us about how you feel about like the branded stuff and being in the airports and whatnot. I know obviously in the airport they have ones where you can buy like um, you can buy headphones, you can buy different things for your trip, which is pretty cool because what you're saying is exactly true. They're putting these products in places where they know their customer is going to be. If you need neck pillows, if you need chargers and whatnot, you can go to these machines and just purchase them real quick. Talk to us about those unique machines.
Man, great question. So this also brings me to the backstory that I have about just how I got on Instagram to teach all of this. Like how did I even start teaching? So I got on Instagram because I figured if I could teach people how to get into the vending machine business, then I could sell them my location services. And that's really how I was able to skyrocket that, right? So I started teaching about vending, and I also taught about lash vending machines and hair vending machines. So I now am still the first African American female and male to come on Instagram and teach about the vending machine business, snacks and drinks. Not only that, but also lashes and hair business. The only one on Instagram to teach people about this. I mean, I went on lives a lot. I did this all the time. And so with the hair and the lash business, what back then, the reason why I started teaching it is back then there were companies where they were you can franchise their company for $15,000 plus just to get inside of their hair business and their product business, right? And they were selling, hair and different products inside, but you would pay $15,000. So when I started hearing these horror stories of people buying into these, and I'm not saying these companies were wrong or, scams or anything, but I was like, wait a minute, like I know how to do this. Like I help clients do this all the time. And so I started teaching about this online so people could understand that they can pay someone $15,000 to franchise, but why not get your own lash machine business, own your own brand so that you can create generational wealth. And that way you have your own, this is your own business, right? Yeah. And it's easy. It's not hard. That's so crazy. Those are the best vending machine ventures to kind of get into when you have a product, because you can put anything inside of a vending machine. You can put sandals, you can put lipstick, makeup products. When Kylie Jenner posted her machine, that's when a lot of people like flooded my inbox saying, hey, weren't you just saying this on live? Or didn't you just post about this? So it really, really, really skyrocketed from there. And it's a lot of people out here now, getting into the business, learning about the business. But yeah, it's a pretty dope business to make a lot of money in.
No, it is super dope. And I'm curious, this is kind of specific, but you see some of the newer machines and they have more advanced technology, like the mechanisms are they just, it looks a lot cooler and seamless. Does that play into how much you can make if the machine is more updated, or as long as it has the right products, then it's fine?
Great question. Yeah. Great question. So the only thing that's different that I would say would skyrocket your vending machine brand is having a credit card reader on the machine, right? Because when you put a credit card reader on the machine, you're going to definitely like twice
Give
or
people
double,
options.
triple your sales
Yeah.
on, I normally say quadruple, but yeah, because people, I don't carry cash. I hate cash. I use my credit card for everything. I don't even use I haven't used a debit card in, I don't know, 11 years, but
Yeah.
my
Really?
credit card, I use that for everything. You know, you want to acquire points and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So having that on your machine instantly is going to get you sales. It's super convenient. There are vending machines that are touch screen, right? You just walk up to it, it's touch screen, you can see the pictures. Then there are the vending machines that have like the little touch screen on the side. You can use that to advertise, which I teach my mentees. That's also another stream of income that you can use as well. But the number one thing is what you sell and who are you giving that to? Why are they buying your product, right? That's like the number one reason why someone would purchase anything from you.
I love that. Super random. Have you ever been to Japan?
I have never.
Okay, I was gonna say, because I'm sure you've seen in pictures and movies and whatnot, the vending machines out there are everything. They're
Yep.
everywhere. You can late at night, you can go and you can get damn near fresh food and drinks and whatnot. Um, it's pretty crazy to see that. Now I'm curious, do you think you'll see a lot more of that in the United States, or is that specifically maybe you think of like a Japanese culture over there? Because out there it's huge. Like you can get whatever you want at any time of the day. Out here, I can't necessarily go to the corner and get fresh food. You know what I'm saying?
So it is a wave that's coming. And
Mm,
a lot of people don't realize that the vending machine business is nowhere near saturated. And
yeah.
I believe, okay, I highly suggest that if someone has an idea in the vending machine business, act now,
Mm,
because we are nowhere near where vending is about to be. A lot of people, like during COVID, people started realizing, oh my goodness, like even though some locations closed, right? We still realized, instead of me paying $2,500 for this office space or for this place in the mall, I can place my t-shirts inside of the vending machine or
for
inside of the
sure.
vending machine, put the vending machine anywhere and be able to sell right then and there. And I teach a little technique to my mentees that if you have a vending machine, if you have products, put a little QR code on there and say,
Mm-hmm.
here, if you scan this, here's your chance to win. So now you are now collecting data from the person who's buying from you. Put a
Interesting.
QR code on the product that you're getting. You're collecting the data from them. So now you're gaining that data from them. So now you don't necessarily need to be in a location to sell whatever product you have. So yes, I think vending is really going to blow up. And a lot of people don't really realize the opportunity they have if they have a product that they sell right now that's doing well.
That's a really good point. That's crazy because right here, I don't know, I'm out here in Dallas, so there's a popular cake spot out here in Dallas called the Cake Bar. Very good, super popular. I think they have it at the airport out here. But anyways, they have a location that's literally 5 minutes from my house, right? They have the brick and mortar, but they also have a vending machine that sells their cakes, and their cakes are really good. And I'm like, damn, that's a to me that's a great idea, because when they're closed and you want a late night snack, you can go over there, hit the vending machine, get you, you know what I'm saying, some fresh cake, which is pretty crazy and innovative. And like you said, they acted on that idea, right? Because absolutely.
I definitely see that as being something that's,
Right.
a lot more people are going to start getting their food products and vending machines. I mean,
Yeah.
right now, of course, it's a little on the high end. It's not cheap to
Yeah.
do that. But
Not.
I mean, once it's like property, once you make your money from it, you're good.
Yeah. And I feel like once you establish that brand that you're talking about, that brand, then people are gonna know, like, if I want a cake this late at night, I'm gonna go hit the vending machine right there, you know?
Yeah.
I'm curious if we can dive a little bit more into locations. Is there any locations that are like prohibited from having vending machines? How does that work? Like, for example, I live in an apartment complex. Would it be possible to throw one in here? How does that work out?
Yes, of course. So let's just say you wanted to get started in vending and you wanted to place that machine at your apartment complex. It would it wouldn't be a conflict of interest, but if you worked at your apartment complex, it would be a conflict of interest. So you wouldn't obviously be able to do that. But as
Right.
someone who lived there, you are able to do that. So no, there aren't really prohibits. The only thing is certain places do need government contracts to be there. Some need city contracts as well. Normally, your high-end places are the apartment complex, hotels, motels. Schools are really big. Schools used to be like number one on my list, but since COVID, a lot of schools are kind of waiting, for those vending machines to be back in order. So you have apartment complex, motels, hotels. What else did I name? Co-working spaces. Those are places that you really don't really need a vending machine to, or you don't need like any type of, I can't, you don't need any extra, I can't even think of the word, but to get a vending machine in there, it's easier, put it like that.
You don't need
you don't need like government
permission.
contracts or anything.
Okay.
Say that again.
I say you don't need like additional permission from anybody or anything.
Yeah, no, you don't need additional permission. The only thing is some states you do need permits. So
got you.
You would need permits from either the city, the county, or the state. I always say go from whoever's the highest. So let's say you're placing a vending machine inside of let's see, like a government, let's say a city hall. Let me give you an example, city hall. Some city halls, you don't need a government contract. All you need to do is contact the county in order to get it inside of that city hall, right? But then some city halls, on the state level, you need a permit. Some on the city level, they're telling you don't need a state permit. So you just go with the state permit because that's the highest one. After that, you're good, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes sense. For the people out there because I know you help people transition their passion into a side hustle. I'm curious, when is it a point where you transition from a side hustle to a business, right?
Ooh,
because
great question.
I think a lot of people, they tend to continue to treat their business like a side hustle. And let's be honest, as a business owner, that's how you're going to get paid, as a side hustle, until you take it serious, you take it full time, and you make it an actual business, and you can get paid like a business. Talk to us about that process for yourself.
Yes. Okay. I love that. Okay. So here's the thing. I'm a really big advocate on finding out what you love to do. A lot of people, they think that I got to start this business and it has to be the best business ever. And I'm just going to make six figures doing that. I'm going to make $1 million doing this, right? I always say, do what you love and then generate money from that. Do what you love, generate money from that, and then figure out if you want to do that or not. I also used to be a CPR instructor. So a lot of people are like, when I was a CPR instructor, I mean, I worked, Red Cross, everything, the whole nine. And people used to be like, man, like, how do you become a CPR instructor? Like, what is that? So I know people who have really good CPR businesses. They have locations, and this is their only business. This is what they do. For me, I enjoyed being a CPR instructor, right? I loved it. I taught classes in front of EMTs, in front of fire, in front of a lot of people, professional people. But I didn't necessarily use that. It was a business, but I didn't necessarily go on with that side hustle and make it as a full-time business that I wanted to do. So my idea is for people to understand, work your 9 to 5. I worked my 9 to 5 and I made 6 figures, right? Work your 9 to 5 if you love it, right? Work your 9 to 5, love your 9 to 5. It's going to teach you so much. You're going to learn skills that you're going to be able to transfer it into your business. However, work your side hustle. I don't care if you have 3 side hustles, work that. And then you can figure out from there, which one of those that I really want to go off and do, a real business doing. That's what I love to preach.
I love that. I love that. I'm curious, what were some of the early struggles that you had going into the vending machine business? Maybe some early struggles that you teach, your students and the people that you're helping out that you need to avoid, or, maybe just some life things that happen to you that are just like, damn, life happened. I have to get over this hurdle. And this is how we overcame it.
Whew. So number one is being a woman. All right. I
Mm.
did not know. Not only I was the only one in my family, in my community, who even started a vending machine business. And it's funny because now that I think about it, I really don't know what I was thinking when I got started. I was just so happy. I was so excited. And I just love the fact that I could put something in a vending machine and then make money
Yeah.
overnight. So some of the things I learned was definitely having the right location, and also understanding that, let's say I got a vending machine location and I was generating $200 a month from that profit. When you think about it, that $200 a month was really good. But for me, I was like, nah, I just want to make $550 and more. I don't want this location, because, some of my machines did $700 a month, right? So it was celebrating those small wins and understanding that even though I did start off and somewhere making $200 a month, it was still money. Why would I
Right.
take those machines out of there, pay someone to move the machine just to find another location?
Mm.
And I learned from that. Also, trusting people who have no idea what they're talking about in vending. I would meet a lot of owners who would sell vending machines, but they didn't even know how to work it. So I learned that, staying in my place and making people think that I didn't know what I was talking about in order to find out how much they really knew, that
Mm.
really allowed me to buy some really good vending machines at a really cheaper price.
Wait,
Um,
wait, 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 wait. Break that down. I don't want to just go over that because that's a low key gem right there. Break that down. What
Yeah,
you
of
mean by
course.
that?
It's crazy. I just did this the other day too, and I recorded it, but I
Mm.
recorded it for my mentees. Just did this the other day. So when you're going to purchase a machine, you want to be so knowledgeable, but to them, you don't want to be as knowledgeable, right? So
Mhm.
when I go to these locations, y'all, I'm not bringing like my Louis bag with me and putting on my nice shoes and all that. Nope. I dress regular shirt, regular pants, and I go there seeming unknowledgeable about the business. So I kind of want to make it seem like I don't know anything. I don't know what I'm doing. I just want to listen to the person, because you can learn so much from
Yeah.
just listening to people, right? So I listen to see what they're telling me about the business, what's going on. Let me know. Tell me more, tell me more about the machine. So what type of brand is this? How do I know that brand is this type? What's a coin mechanism, or how does it feed money, or how do I know if it works? So I can tell by how they're operating that machine if they know what
Mhm.
they're doing or not, right? So I had the guy, I was like, can you show me how to work this vending machine? And he didn't even know how to work it. He didn't know how to test it. All he knew
Mm.
was put money in here, it works, it doesn't work. I don't know. He didn't know how to test it. When you're going up to a machine, you want to test the coils. So, I was like, well, I think you're supposed to do it this way or that way. So I could tell based off him not knowing that I could get a better price. And don't look at it as I'm getting over on him, right? You can't look at it that way. You just got to look at it as, if you have more knowledge, this is business, y'all. You got more
Right.
knowledge than the person who's selling you something. You can kind of, get it for a cheaper price, right?
Absolutely.
Because you know the worth of that vending machine and they don't. And
Hmm.
that's what I teach my mentees too. Get into this business, but don't let people know that you know everything. Just a quick story. I would have mentees do a FaceTime with me when they're going to see a machine. And two times, and I learned from these two times, I would have my face on it. And, I would make sure my mentee said, I'm on the phone with this person named Crissy. They're a company called Vending Factory. Those two times, there were people who were in totally different states. And they would be
Mm.
like, oh, yeah, I know her. Yeah, I know her. And then so I would try to bargain with them. And they would be like, I'm not bargaining with you. You know this game, girl. Stop playing. Right. So that's when I learned, all right, so I can't let
Mhm.
people know who I am, what I do, nothing about
Mhm.
my company, because they're going to know that that the machine that they're selling is worth it. Right.
Mhm.
So that's pretty much how I play that game.
No, absolutely. So the two questions I had earlier, I remembered them. One of them was, you mentioned starting from the top when going to these locations, starting from the top, going as the owner. Now, is it simply you just going to the owners and asking them if you can put a vending machine in their location, or sending emails? How does that, like, are you doing whatever it takes to get that location? How does that process work?
you're honestly doing whatever it takes. So the number
Okay.
one way is going to the location and asking them if you can place it in their business. But you can also send out emails as well. And then you can also call them. So how we acquire locations in different states is we use a technique called cold calling. We'll cold call locations. And then you also want to have a good strong follow-up email so that they trust you. We go back to honesty and trust. And then, you're not really trying to push your way in the location, because then they'll start asking, how much are you going to pay me? Or how much would it be for you to be here? You want to make sure that it's a free service to them and their clients. You want to say that it's a free service to you and your clients. And that way they're understanding from the rip, this doesn't cost you anything. You need me. I don't need you. You need me. You need, and many times, like, let's say if I have an owner who doesn't really know if they want me to be there, say it's a coworker, or let's say it's a real estate office, I'll say, well, a lot of the times your people are coming here, they want to buy a house. However, what are you offering them that will keep them inside of your location without them needing to make a second decision? Car companies, those are huge to do that. What are you offering them so that they can stay here? Why not just have a vending machine here, give them snacks, feed them? When you feed someone, they're happy. And that's how you can really secure those car companies, car dealerships.
Right. And so some places, do they charge like rent for these vending machines? Will they
No,
charge?
good question. No, you want to, 5% is where you want to start. If they still want you to be there, you can go up to 10%. I wouldn't go up higher than that unless you find someone who knows the vending machine business. You don't have to come to me, but there are other people who do consults. You want to consult with people, give them the rundown. And I had one of my mentees, he didn't want this location because the owner wanted 15%. After he gave me the rundown, where the location was, what type of location, I told him, take it. I was like, no, take that. I was like, if you don't take that, I will. He ended up making $750 his first month with just one vending machine. And this is in New Jersey.
That's crazy. Wow. A lot of great information. I think I have one more thing about vending machines. Um, I'm curious, when should one consider getting an LLC for their vending machine business? Because I'm thinking food, I'm thinking these cakes right here. If somebody eats it and they get sick and they want to sue, how do you protect yourself from, that whole situation? And even maybe with products as well, like if they get it and if it's broken or if something crazy happens, you just never know. How can people protect themselves starting off?
Great question. So, sometimes when people start, they don't jump right into creating in a business entity. I don't like to say LLC because people don't realize that you can have several different business entities. You don't necessarily just have to have an LLC, but you can be a sole proprietor if you want to start it off. And that way, you're working for your own company. However, the majority of people I talk to, they do create an LLC. I was an LLC. I moved to an S corp, but I always say, ask your accountant. I don't teach anything that I'm not an expert in, and I'm not an expert in like the accounting part. I can tell you what I've done, right? But it doesn't mean that it'll necessarily work for you. You might have a partner in a different state. You might have a partner who wants to work with you and they're, a friend. And then that you do a partnership, you wouldn't necessarily set your business entity up a different way. So that's what I would say. As far as running your business, if you know that you want to place a vending machine in a location, I think it would be wise for you to have a business entity set up so that you have some level of protection over your business. Now, an LLC, we know that gives you more protection than a sole proprietorship, right? However, you also can put insurance on your vending machine as well. And that way you'll have that insurance down the line. God forbid you sell lashes or hair, you'll have that protection for your business and for your products.
That's dope. That's super good. So for the people out there that are like Crissy, a lot of great information. I'm sure there's a lot more details I need to learn. What are some services or products that you offer that can help me get into the vending machine business? Because like I said, I don't even think we covered nearly everything. There's a lot more to it. But what are some of the things? What are some of the ways that you help your mentees with getting into this business? You mentioned a
Yes.
couple, but I'm sure you got some other ones out there.
Of course, of course. So if you want to get into the business, the number one thing I would say is we sell locations. So we sell locations. Um, and we also sell, as far as like if you don't want to go and find your own vending machine, we also sell that service as well. We have a vending machine course that will jumpstart your way of getting in the business. We also have a mentorship program. In the mentorship program, or the number one reason why people get into that program, is because I teach you how to find, like, I teach you everything I know about vending. I also give you my vendors. So if you want to, like the touch screen vending machine I was talking about, or any type of bulk machine that you want, I give you the vendors that I use for clients. I also sell vending machines. So just to give you an example, I sell vending machines for $7,000 plus, right? Clients come to me, I give them the vending machine, I drop ship it to them. My mentees get those exact vendors that I'm using to sell to their community. So I also do that as well. You can find me on at Crissy Tutors on Instagram, and at Vending Factory is my business page for that, at Vending Factory One. And yeah, and if you have any, questions, you can also email us support@vendingfactory.com.
Absolutely. We definitely appreciate you. One thing that we always have our guests do before they leave the podcast is drop one last gem for the audience, one last piece of advice. It can be vending machine related, it can be entrepreneurship, life, whatever you want. Let the people know what you have for them, and we'll end it on that note.
Of course. So the number one thing I would say is, I know earlier I did mention that if you wanted to get into the vending machine business and you had a great idea, to act now. That's still something that I stand by. However, the gem I would give is move at your own pace, because you don't want to get into something that you're just hyped about and then, God forbid, it doesn't work. Do all the research you can. You don't have to buy anything from me, right? I'm still going to make my money on the back end, but do all the research you can to make sure this is something that you at least want to try out, and then do it slowly. Pace yourself. You don't have to jump into it. Just pace yourself. The money will eventually come, I promise. As long as you have that passion to get in this business, the passion to serve people, the passion to be honest and trustworthy, I promise you it will work. So just at your own pace, just go slowly. And also reinvest your money. Don't spend the money you're making, just always reinvest it.
Boom. I love it. Love it. Once again, I appreciate you jumping on the podcast. We appreciate you giving us a piece of your time and all the great information out there. If this podcast episode helped you out, or if you feel like it can help somebody else out, please share this episode with one other person that needs to hear this. With that being said, it's your boy Chris. I'll catch you guys next week. Peace.
Thank you.